Hello?
Hello, welcome to part two. Hopefully, with Tom for the majority of it. um, we left off with the events of Dorne, which none of us were too happy about, and we moved on to Marine with Tyrion and Varys. Have you got any opinions on that, Tom, or was it just a
Um,
pointless scene?
just remind me what happened with them two. I remember they were talking and then,
Basically, all that happened, they talked about how the slaves in Marine have now maybe joined the Masters in terms of wanting Daenerys out of Marine,
yeah,
and then we saw the ships being burnt, so there's no way back to Westeros via the sea.
right, yeah.
Hello? Ryan forgot to mute his mic. Can you hear me, Tom?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Did you have any opinions on that, Tyrion and Paris? Or?
I can't remember what they said to each other. They were talking about, it keeps flicking to the silence for a minute. Um, oh, yeah, yeah. I thought that the conversation was a bit stilted. I felt like they keep just throwing Tyrion and Varys in there because they're our favourite characters, and then they say something a bit witty, but I don't really see what relevant a lot of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's pretty much what Ryan was getting at as well. But yeah. Yeah.
But like, I don't know if you've mentioned this before, but I remember George R. R. Martin and said that he'd had a conversation with D&D, and they was like, "Well, what's happening with Varys?" And he said like he's hiding, because he's hiding in the King's Landing with his little birds and ready to strike, and Kevin Lannister, blah, blah, blah. But they were like, "Oh, no, he can't be hiding. We don't like him hiding. We need to see him. We need to see him on the screen because that's what the fans want. Otherwise, they'll forget who he is." I was, God. Ever since I've kind of heard that, I'm a bit judgmental towards Varys and Tyrion. Oh, we need them there so they can have a few witty conversations. I don't really see where it's added to it. So,
That's
really like
basically what you were saying as well, Ryan, wasn't it? Like, you just the Varys and Tyrion scenes of sort of like there's no real, in terms of plot, there's no real point to them other than the fact that here is Varys and he still exists, and here is Tyrion. You like him.
And like a bit of comic relief to lift your spirits up a bit because every other scene used to be so dreary. So it's a good scene, but it was just a filler. It's
we move on?
Yeah.
Should we move on to another filler scene with Jorah and Dario? Not really much happened other than the fact that what we already knew was they were tracking Daenerys and they find out that she's going to the Dothraki have her, and that's really about it. Did you have any opinions on the interaction with Jorah and Dario? In terms of Dario saying, "I hope one day I get to be like you when I'm old," and then sort of Jorah looking at his arm and seeing his grayscale.
It was I liked that when he said, "If you grow old," and he's like, "I hope I do," and he's like, "So do I." I don't know if I liked, just out of like the way he looked at his arm, basically to show everyone, "Oh yeah, I've still got the grayscale. Look, everyone, I've still got it." He didn't need to look at his arm because we knew he had it. But I understand for just the audience that watch Game of Thrones, there's so much going on. They need to be reminded that he's got it. It would have been nice not to have him looking at it, but that was the only interesting thing out of that whole scene. That was the one thing I liked. It was good, but that was the only thing that was useful, is them reminding us that he's got it, and that they've gone to get her. There was nothing else interesting in it, I think.
And Tom's gone again.
Oh, I hate that.
Let's just continue. It's just me and you for now. Hopefully, we'll have Tom back next week.
I was going to say, I don't know what. I was like, why is Tom not saying anything about this?
I saw that his screen was frozen, and then I just was like, hopefully that's not. Hopefully he's just really sitting still and concentrating. But yeah, we'll move on from Jorah and Dario because not much happened there, to be honest. It was literally just a sort of reminder of what's happening with those characters and where they're going.
Yeah.
But the big revelation is that she's with a Dothraki horde, which is what we knew already. And it's quite interesting to see Daenerys at this stage of her character because she's kind of back to square one, being a slave and being whipped about. I thought a lot of the Dothraki conversations were very funny, and also was good character for their culture. Sort of that brutal sexual talk combined with the talk of battling. They treat everything like a war, and they treat everything like a one-upsmanship, and that's what I liked about their interactions. Like from the minor characters, even to when we meet Khal Morrow, who is, as far as I know, not the character that was part of Daenerys's horde back in season 1. Because if he is, he's got a really short memory. Because none of them knew who Daenerys was, apparently. But I'm not going to delve too much into that. But I actually really like the scene. It's probably my second favorite scene in the episode. It just showed how strong Daenerys' character was, like you said earlier, that she is the main female lead in the show and the strongest female lead in the show. You could make arguments for Brienne, but she's more strong in terms of her fighting ability, whereas Daenerys is strong in terms of her wit. And we get a good interaction between her and Khal Morrow, and then we find out that she is going to Vastothrak, which I thought we'd seen in season 1, but maybe I'm wrong, where she is going to sit with the other widows of the Khals, which is like a tradition in Dothraki culture, where if you were a wife to a Khal and then that Khal dies, you go with the other wives of Khals or widows to live out your days, basically. I don't actually know their political stance, but I believe they actually do make decisions in terms of the world, in terms of the Dothraki culture. So it would be interesting to see that. And because Daenerys is so used to having her own way, really, because that's in the past 3 seasons she's been a queen. It might be interesting to see how she conflicts with these widows who are supposed to be quite old and are quite demeaning to new widows. But did you have any opinions on that whole Dany scene?
We don't really, as a show watching goes. In the books, we're there for a little bit with all the widows and that, but we're only there briefly. The show, it would be interesting what you're saying, to see how she interacts with them, like, because she's been on top for so long. It would be interesting to see if she kind of. I wonder how long she'll be there if she does end up there. If she'll actually end up going back to her old ways and just kind of feeling sorry for herself.
Well, she seems to. It seems like her character, as of late, has seemed to be that sort of grandiose type that is actually quite dictatorial in terms of every chance she gets, she announces her names and her role in the kingdom, and she also makes decisions on a whim, which is in previous Targaryen reigns is quite like a trait of Targaryens, is that they're very hot-headed and they're very used to getting their own way and they're quick to make decisions. So I think it'll be interesting to see her go to Vastothrak, even if it is just for an episode, to see her interact with characters that won't take her shit. So Yeah. Yeah, I think her character going forward is quite an interesting one, and obviously she'll redeem herself by the end of the season. But yeah, that's all I can think of for Daenerys.
Yeah, there wasn't much. There wasn't much going on. Like a lot happened. Yeah, but again, as you've said already, I think it was a bit filler. I think it's going to be a lot more interesting once she gets to.
I thought that was a better filler though. That got across the characters, that got across her character, and that got across the plot as well.
Mm.
I feel like the other filler scenes, Varys and Tyrion and Jorah and Dario. Yes, it gave them a slightly bit more character, but not much more than we already know. And it also didn't really forward the plot that much. I mean, Tyrion and Varys literally did nothing. They found out the ships were burnt. So, do you know what I mean? Like, that's not really a conflict. That's not going to be the whole season, is them going, oh no, the ships are burnt. What are we going to do? It's as if we've got dragons in the dungeon. Do you know what I mean? So that to me is like something that they're going to overcome pretty quickly. And Jorah and Dario was just them tracking down Daenerys. It's pretty pointless, to be honest. They're going to run into them eventually. And I've seen a lot of people say it's going to be like a rescue mission. I actually doubt that. I actually think Daenerys is actually going to somehow get the Dothraki back on her side, which would be a good way for her to build up an army again. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see Daenerys in a new predicament that we haven't seen her for at least in a couple of seasons, because she has been that clean-cut sort of queen, and now we actually get to see her back down, not punished, not like Sansa in terms of like she's getting tortured, but she is in a predicament that she's not used to, and it would be great to see how she adapts to that.
Yeah,
so that's basically it with that Daenerys scene. So
I think my main problem, well, I don't seem that interested in the whole Jorah, Tyrion, or Daenerys thing, because it's Essos. That whole area, that whole continent, I just don't seem to enjoy very much. I really enjoy Westeros, but anything over the Narrow Sea, it's like I lose interest.
Yeah,
I don't know why. A lot happens, but it's got the dragons, which are don't seem to be doing much. It was cool when it came in. Yeah, it's just I don't know, the whole desert theme and that. I'd much prefer the kind of more medieval fantasy.
Yeah, a big problem I have with it is Daenerys' ability to conquer lands in that area. It sort of feels slightly like contradictory to her motives, because if she so easily, I know she struggles because eventually the Masters take back Yunkai and whatever else she took over before, but as she was taking over these cities in these new lands, you sort of just wonder, like, why don't you just make a kingdom here? There is other than the fact that you say Westeros is home, they're like, all right, okay, they've drawn that home that she thinks Westeros is home and that she wants to go back. But even last season, she says to herself, right, this is my home now. I'm going to make a kingdom here. And then like a couple of episodes later, we get her wanting to go back. So it's a bit weird. Like it feels like an area that sort of every time Essos is mentioned, it's mentioned with Westerosi characters and then wanting to get back to Westeros.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that people don't necessarily attach to Essos as much as they do Westeros, because all the characters involved in that area are all from Westeros. So it's like, well, just get them back and just keep the Westeros and just keep it that way. It's kind of strange. It's like if all the Lord of the Rings characters went south of Hobbiton for like a couple of books and nothing happened, and you sort of like, what's the point? Like, they should be going to Mordor, but they're not. They're just sitting around twiddling their thumbs, sitting playing at the beach. But
I mean, it's because it's like Daenerys and her brother, I've forgotten her name, start out in like the west, like they're really near Westeros, and they end up. She's now like almost the furthest east she could possibly be.
Yeah,
like, she's the furthest away from the throne. The furthest away from the thing that she wants. I understood why they were running away.
To go, what is
assassins
it? To go west, you must go east. To go east, you must go north. Or whatever that shit is. Oh, hey, we got a visitor from another planet. All right,
now. Sorry, Glenn. So sorry to bail on you, but now you've got Tom back. I've got to go.
All right, we're doing subs now. We're doing substitutions. Right. Okay. See you later, Ryan.
I'll catch that, guys.
Hopefully, you can join us again.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt.
See ya. Right. Anyway, we left off with Daenerys and her interaction. Her interaction with Cal Morrow.
Do you know how to get an iPhone to stay on the screen without like going back?
I don't know.
Do you know like standby?
I think you have to change the settings.
Let me just try it.
This is great podcast territory.
I am talking.
We have to get like a little video up just saying like we'll be back in a moment.
What else did you say when I was gone?
We just talked about Daenerys and her interaction with the Dothraki.
Yeah, what did you think of that?
I liked it. I thought it was one of the better scenes of the episode. Just like that, I like the fact they used humor to get across how brutal the Dothraki were, because like even though the contents of what they were talking about was brutal, it was funny at the same time. But that didn't make them any less threatening. Like it made them sort of silly, but at the same time they were talking about like you know, sleeping with women and fighting and killing, and so it was. I thought it was like an actual perfect characterization of Dothraki people. But yeah, we basically talked about how Daenerys is going to Vast Dothrak, and her role in that area is going to be a bit different to what we saw last season, where she was a queen of Meereen.
Yeah, from a queen to nothing, huh?
Yeah. What do you think her path leads to this season?
Well, first of all, I thought she was going to get smacked up a bit more than she did. Not that I wanted her to, but like, you know, D&D just love beating up the women, don't they? Like, Sansa gets rid of season, etc. I don't like a lot of this episode. It wasn't one of my favourites. I felt like not much happened. Like, yeah, a bit of banter between them, and then, oh, I'm Khal Drogo's wife, and then, oh, sorry, I don't know. Like, I thought they had chance for a bit more to happen. They could save them, maybe. I don't really know what she's got to go to Vast Dothrak, doesn't she? With the other dead Khal's wives, Khaleesi's. Yeah. What else did you say about it? Did you
basically? We were talking about how her role's going to change now that she's gone to Vast Dothrak, and she's not going to get. She's sort of been getting her own way for a couple of seasons now in terms of her leadership. Yeah. She's actually it's quite interesting how she's taken the sort of traits of other Targaryens in terms of she's actually become more of a ruler, but in not necessarily 100% positive way, where she's sort of taking decisions on her own and not like hearing the advice so much of what the other people are saying. So it'd be interesting to see when she's taken down to like the bare minimum, and she's going to have to manipulate her way out of being a widow, basically, because obviously she's not going to sit there for the rest of the season. It's
a different skill set she's got to employ now, hasn't she? She's got. I think she's going to get knocked down a bit more. And I don't think like they're going to be too brutal with her. But
No.
they're going to say like, look, amongst us, you're just another, dead Cal's wife. Like, I am Mother of Dragons, I'm Khaleesi, and then they'll keep putting her down, and then she'll kind of have to employ be a bit more humble than she's been for quite a long time now, ruling over the East.
Yeah, I really like that line that Cal Morrow says when he says when she announces all her names, and then he just says to her, "You're queen of nothing, you're mother of nothing, you are nothing." And it's like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of true in terms of her actual. Like, all right, she conquered Essos, sort of. Well, a couple of kingdoms, but in terms of the overall spectrum of Game of Thrones, she hasn't really done much to solidify her queenship, so to speak. So it's kind of interesting.
She's conquered, but she hasn't actually ruled effectively.
Yeah,
She's
exactly.
Not much to. It kind of reminds me of in the last book where Varys stabs Kevin.
Yeah.
He's talking about
Spoiler.
Aegon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's talking about him and he's saying, he's been taught from birth to be humble about it, to always be primarily concerned with your people's well-being.
Yeah.
And then, like, ruler, your own ego's not important. You've got to do the best. He's been taught in all the arts. He's a completely humble king. He's been a humble king. Whereas Tommen's been kind of taught, you are the king. Everybody should do as you say. No, you should never be questioned. The small folk aren't important. Where the big powerful houses were important. Blah blah blah. But I know, like, they haven't introduced Aegon. I think them not introducing him means that he's probably a fake.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was a fake, but Kevin Lannister talks about, he remembers the boy and it was just a horrible mess of brain and bone or whatever that couldn't possibly identify as Aegon. That could be another wild herring, which everyone thinks it is. Anyway. But yeah, about Daenerys, I think she's got a lot to learn, which is good. She starts at the very beginning. She's only 13 in the book, so like people get very upset about her character saying like, "Oh, she didn't know what she's doing. She's freeing the slave. No, what's she doing? These blah blah blah. It's all just one big blunder to another." But I'm like, she's a 13-year-old girl. I think she's done pretty well. But anyway. She's still a really young girl. I think she gets far too much stick. I mean, everyone's talking about how good of a leader Stannis was, but I don't really agree with that. I mean, he was well known from the very start that he wasn't loved by his men at all. That's why start of Clash of Kings, Stannis doesn't have any men. They all rather have Renly as a king, wouldn't they? They might have Highgarden and all.
Yeah.
So
in all honesty, if Stannis hadn't used a smoke monster to kill Renly might be ruling most of the Seven Kingdoms right now.
Well, Renly was like depicted as a young Robert, which anyway, we'll stick to shows. But in the books, I was like, I thought he was pretty badass. Like, he was a bit egotistical and stuff, but everyone said, he's built like a brick shit house. He had long, beautiful black hair, and he was kind of, maiden's fantasy or whatever. But I'm getting way off track anyway.
Okay. Well, before we move on to the north,
let you start.
All right, sorry. Yeah, before we move on to the north, because we've basically covered most of the show, but the north was where the majority of things happened. We'll just quickly cover Arya and where she is at the start of this season. I basically said she's learning to be Daredevil, but I'd like to get your opinions on that scene. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have that much to say about Arya. I really like what the show's doing with her. I think they've cut like, she's old clams a bit, but they didn't overemphasize it. Blah blah. I think she's a kind of character who a lot of it can be cut and streamlined, which is why it's worked so well. I think they've just got a lot of interesting things to come with Arya. I can't wait for them. I think they did it really well as well, where she's beating her up with a stick and she's blind. And kind of liked that they didn't hold back and it was quite brutal and stuff like that. But I really liked that scene. Yeah.
Like it was brief, but it did the job of like reminding you what happened last season, and then also giving you sort of an insight into what our future holds. Like the waif is going to teach her how to utilize those senses better, and then obviously I think she's obviously going to get her sight back, and she'll be a better assassin for it. So there's not really much to go on that scene, but it is good to like at least catch up with her and see what she's going to do for the rest of the season. But we'll move on to the main chunk.
To come, I think,
yeah, good things to come. Yeah, definitely. We'll move on to the main chunk of this episode because I feel like a lot happened at the North/the Wall. So we started the episode with Jon Snow's definitely 100% dead body, which is discovered by Davos and a few of his last loyal brothers. I cannot remember the name of the long-haired brother that is the only one still alive out of Gren and Pip and the other guy, but I can't remember the other guy's name. But basically Davos discovers his dead body, brings it back to what I believe is Jon Snow's living area, and then Melisandre basically comes back. She mentions that she saw Jon Snow fighting at Winterfell, and she begins to doubt herself because a lot of her visions are now not coming true. She believes Stannis was Azor Ahai. Part of me believes that was a bit of a foil in terms of her part. Like I didn't get the feeling in the books, at least, that she was 100% behind Stannis, but in the show they've definitely drummed that home that she definitely believes Stannis was Azor Ahai, and because you see that when eventually he fails, you can see that she retreats and goes back to Winterfell, and then even more so when she sees Jon Snow dead in her eyes, and she thinks, "Oh, my visions have totally betrayed me." So, is there anything you thought about Jon Snow's death and Melisandre's involvement in it?
I didn't really. I can't say that I'd noticed a big difference between the book and show between Melisandre's zeal for Stannis.
Yeah,
but I still think that Mel's going to bring Jon back.
Yeah.
The part of the show that she's.
Sorry.
The part at the end where it shows that she's really old.
Yeah.
It's just glamour. I knew that already, but I'm not sure where from. But I was already pretty sure that was a kid. There was several mentions of it hundreds of years old, so that was.
They never actually say that. Like, there's never a scene in the books. By the way, for anyone that doesn't know, glamour is like a thing that the Red Woman or other, let's just call them mages, use to sort of change the appearance of someone. So a big storyline in the book that they haven't done in the show is that they use Melisandre uses the glamour to disguise a character called, what's his name? The Bones character. Dry Bones. Is it? No, that's not Dry Bones. Anyway, he's a character that we do see him in season 2 of Game of Thrones, but he's the character who's all dressed in bones, and they disguise him as Mance Rayder, and they burn him at the stake to make the Night's Watch think it's Mance Rayder. But eventually, we find out that Mance Rayder is not dead, and he's actually going to find Arya at Winterfell. Anyway, basically, they do introduce glamour in the books, but they never explicitly say that Melisandre uses it to disguise her appearance. But they do say she's been doing this for what seems an eternity, and a lot of the characters do refer to her as quite old in nature, so you do get the impression reading that. But I thought it was an interesting way to show how that worked. But once again, it's going to be underexplained, I think, and they're just going to get around it. Like, they still haven't explained how resurrection works in the show, but
What was the score?
I don't know.
Are you pissed?
Yes, no, I'm watching.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, yeah. Yeah, we see that she's no woman underneath that glamour. But what did you think of that reveal?
Hello.
Hello.
You kept cutting off for a little bit, and then I was only hearing part of what you said.
Oh, okay. Just to quickly recap, what do you think of that reveal at the end of the episode? Then that
I don't know. I just, like, for people that didn't know, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was massive. The magical, the glamour. Jack and Hagar, is that not the same thing when he's changing his face?
Well, that's what I'm kind of confused about. Is that how does that work? Because glamour's sort of a different thing, isn't it?
It's not a necklace that gives her the glamour.
Yeah, it's just like a power that she uses.
Yeah, we get a few people thought that they all derived from that, but there's scenes where she's in the bathtub and she's not wearing that and she's looking at herself.
Well, another person has said a theory about that is the fact that in that scene, it's Stannis' wife. I can't remember her name. Something Florence.
Yeah,
Selyse, that's it. That she's so encumbered in the religion and Melisandre's basically lies that she doesn't see Melisandre's true form.
I think that's a bit far-fetched.
Yeah, well, yeah. I kind of like that theory, but it is a bit... I think it's more of a continuity error than that. But yeah.
Yeah, regardless of the specifics, though.
Yeah.
I didn't think too much of it, basically because I knew it was the case. It was just kind of them showing me something that I already knew, so it wasn't like a big shock for me at the end. Yeah. I'm sure the producers have already said she's 100 years old, so for a years old, it doesn't matter. There's definitely some kind of element to it. But yeah, it will be mentioned quite a few times that she's 100-year old, so that was a big shock.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Do you think it's going to come to like mass violence then, with the pro-Jon Snow against Jon Snow faction?
Well, we saw Jon Snow's friend go and find. Basically, Davos said he's still got friends somewhere.
Yeah,
the Wildlings. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm kind of interested to see where that goes. Whether it'll be basically the Wildlings' unrelenting force, because as far as I know, the Wildlings still have more men than the Watch, and they're in the Wall. They're in Castle Black or one of the
they're in
Fast. Yeah. So thinking about that, like, I didn't even put two and two together when Jon Snow's death happened, but thinking about that is one of the most illogical things Alistair Thorne can ever do, is kill Jon Snow whilst the Wildlings are still behind the Wall. Like, but
I don't even think. I think most of the Watch are very uneasy about it.
Yeah.
There's like, yeah, and I killed him and what have it. And there's a kind of, it doesn't explicitly say, but there's kind of murmurings.
Well, yeah, I kind of like that scene because you sort of got the.
Sorry.
You understood Thorne's perspective on it all, and you sort of related to his reasons for doing so, even though it was sort of retconning what happened last season. But you also got an insight into the Watch's sort of sometimes loyalty and sometimes their honor that they do have sometimes. I know they're all like rapists and thieves and prisoners and that, but a few of them do. They don't immediately go, "Yay, Alistair Thorne, you're a hero." They sort of go, "That wasn't the right thing to do." So
I thought a lot of them was like, well, if it was the right thing to do, why didn't he let everyone know? Well,
yeah.
You have it was done so dastardly and so secretly. I think even they thought like, no, something's not quite right here. You know,
Yeah,
I think a lot of them were very uneasy about it. So
and it's quite funny that Thorne says while he's defending the fact that he killed his Lord Commander that he's never disobeyed an order.
yeah,
I thought that was good. That was a good oxymoron because it was like I've never disobeyed an order, but I stabbed him in the chest.
well, he did something that we don't like, so he killed him. Like, when's that ever okay? He didn't ask anyone. You know, he just took it upon himself, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought. Do you think that? I think that Jon Snow at the moment is in Ghost, and he has been the whole time.
Do you think that? Because I think that's the way that he leaves it in the book. I definitely think that's what he's sort of playing to. But I don't know. I don't know if the show has the like ability to keep that attention span because a lot of people suggested that Arya might find her sight through a cat or something, like some animal that she's able to warg in.
Yeah,
And that's how she finds her sight again. She realizes her powers, but I feel like the show won't go down that way. And I'm not like I feel like they'll literally just leave it at Bran having warging abilities, and that's it. But yeah, I don't really know how they're going to explain it. Like that would be the easiest way to do it, but I don't know if they are going to do it that way.
I'd be surprised if Jon, when he's resurrected, kind of turns to Ghost and say, "Well, I've not been completely absent the whole time." As a kind of little.
Okay, yeah. No, that'd be actually quite cool. Yeah, it'd be good if we got a scene where Ghost sort of fights off a load of, what do you call it? A load of watchers. What do you call them? Crows. That's it. It'd be good if like there's a scene where he fights off a load of crows and you sort of like see that personality in him. I don't know how they'd portray that, but it'd be good if you got that sort of link to Jon through that.
Yeah,
so,
I think as well, like even if it didn't warg into Ghost or whatnot, I think it amounts to the same thing. I mean, Ghost is loyal to a T. And
yeah.
Rules are, so it almost doesn't matter that much as it is. It's just whether Jon can warg or not. And I think if they do go with some kind of like idea that he was in Ghost the whole time, then I think that I forgot what I was going to say. Get back to. Sorry, I forgot what I was going to say.
That's all right. That's all right. We can move on past. Basically, just to wrap up, we got the friction between Alistair Thorne and Davos. How do you see Davos's role in this whole conflict between Jon Snow's loyalists / the Wildlings and the Watch?
I think until it's resolved, he'll stay.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be resolved quickly as it is. I think pro Jon Snow, or Jon Snow loyalists, however you want to call them, will ultimately win. But I think a lot of the people that betrayed him will see their error in the ways.
Yeah.
And, you know, bow to that Jon Snow's a leader again, sort of thing. But I think Alistair Thorne will be right down to the bone. He will not accept Jon Snow. He'll say, "Kill me, then." I don't think he's a coward, Alistair Thorne. I think he'll say, and Jon might even behead him, throw back to Ned, because I think Jon's most like Ned out of all of them.
Oh yeah, big time, definitely. I think Rob had a bit. Rob had a bit of that, but Rob didn't. Rob didn't really. I don't know. Actually, Rob did have similar traits in Ed, but yeah, Jon Snow is the most similar out of the Stark kids, because I think he looked up to Ned the most because he was the outsider.
And Ned treated him well as in his bastard anyway.
Yeah.
Legitimising that. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I think that's about it with the Wall anyway. Just looking at my notes. Yeah, so should we move on to the Boltons then?
Yeah.
I thought Ramsay's scene where he's basically there was a lot of dead bodies at the start of the show, but yeah, his scene where he's mourning his dead paramour basically, I can't remember, Miranda, I think her name is.
Yeah.
And then he just says at the end, "She's good meat. Feed her to the dogs." That's just like that perfectly epitomizes Ramsay's character. And yeah, but in terms of plot, it was mainly that they were sort of planting the seeds for that. Walder's got a child that could be a boy, and they're definitely setting up that conflict. But do you have any thoughts on that whole? I guess you could call it a conflict triangle between Walder, Ramsay, and Roose.
Yeah, I think what I said last week, I think it was evidence there. Roose looks at him, he knows he looks at him and he says something along the lines of, "Oh, it could be a boy." That Walder could be a boy. Roose is very, very, very aware of what's happening. Roose can manipulate Ramsay, not the other way around.
Yeah.
He's the one with the intelligence. Ramsay's just cruel for cruelty's sake. Everything he's got has been given from Roose as it is, because Roose sees him as actually quite useful in a lot of ways. So I think Roose can manipulate him into doing whatever he wants. I thought it was interesting, and we get the betrayal of the Lannisters with the Sansa marriage.
Yeah, that was quite good. I like the fact that they
says,
actually referred to it.
And then Roose says to him, "You might have burnt a few supply lines, but it's not the same as facing a full Lannister army or the crown or whatnot."
Yeah.
Which just further made me think, like, well, why did he marry to Sansa? He's already got the North.
Yeah.
The Lannisters legitimise them for the North for their part in the Red Wedding. So what was the need to marry Sansa?
I guess it was just he's got the House of Winterfell, but does he actually have the whole North? Like the lesser houses aren't going to exactly call their banners to his cause.
It's logic, though. So
yeah.
The other Northerners are going to be like, "Well, we really don't agree what you did with the Red Wedding. That's why we'd hate to join you." They all love Ned. They all love Robb.
Yeah.
So say, now you've forced the daughter into a horrible marriage with a psychopath. All right. That's quite legitimate. I think the legitimacy is secondary to the honour of it and to where the loyalties lie now. Because, I mean, we've got that. Tommen's not even a Baratheon, and he's sat the throne. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think Renly had 100,000 Southern Lords at his back, and they all knew that he had no legitimate claim in any way. Well,
yeah, it was just like love. Yeah.
So I don't understand this legitimacy thing. If the Starks are so down and out, then I don't really see how Sansa matters in that way. Unless you're on the side of the like, if Littlefinger in the Vale was to say, "Look, I've got Sansa. Sansa's now the Lady of the Vale," etc. That makes a lot more sense, because they've not done anything negative towards the North. They've stayed out of the war. So that would make sense to me for him to. That's why when he went to the Boltons, they've already blackened themselves. They've already ruined their name, so that it doesn't fit. But they fit because they were part of the Red Wedding, and they'd never joined the side of Tommen.
Yeah.
But I think the Bolton, they're like Littlefinger's bitten off more than they can chew now, and they're in a powerful position at the moment, but they've got so many enemies.
Well, it'd be interesting to see where Littlefinger is, because we obviously haven't seen him yet. So it'd be interesting to see what he's actually doing at the moment. Because they sort of left his plan up in the air last season, because I have no idea what he's doing.
Narrow sea, trying to make alliances with Daenerys while mocking her. Called quick. Because the show is so random. He insults everybody and makes enemies and friends at equal measure.
And he can turn up wherever he wants at a drop of a hat.
He's just there, isn't he? King's Landing. I'm going to make a resolution to stop talking about book things and just look at the show purely. So what do I think is going to happen with the Boltons? I think similar thing to the book, though. But by the way, Brienne, I really liked that scene, by the way, where Brienne.
Yeah. I was just about to say, if we want to move past the Boltons and talk about that Sansa and Theon scene, and Brienne. I think that was probably the best scene in the episode. It was a bit strange that Ramsay only sent about 4 or 5 people after Sansa, but maybe he obviously doesn't see the importance of Sansa as much as Roose does.
Maybe, yeah, but it could be, getting technical like that, it could have sent a lot of little companies out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true. Yeah, that could have just been one company that finds her. Yeah, true.
But I loved that. I loved Brienne finally getting finally. I don't care if it happens like that in the books at all. I thought that was a variation, not necessarily a variation. We don't know, but I thought it worked really, really well.
Yeah,
I thought Theon, Pod, and Brienne all getting involved with fighting. I loved it, and I was like, when they caught up to them and stuff, and then Brienne, it was brilliant. But yeah, go on.
And it was good to see, like, you got everything really there. You got Brienne's progression as a fighter and a killer. She's sort of now realizing that it's time to get brutal with her fighting ability, and then you get Theon's slowly getting back that side of him where, like, he stabs someone in the throat, and you sort of see that he's got that stance, that fighting stance, that he's sort of that's something that you're taught and not just a random. I feel like that wasn't a random, like, position that he was holding. And then you get Sansa finally realizing that she needs Brienne to protect her and take her under her wing and sort of build up a little troop of followers so that she can get to the wall. Do you think they're heading in that direction, or do you think Brienne will talk her out of it?
That's what they said, didn't they?
Yeah, Theon says that you've got to go to the wall to see Jon. So do you think that's where they're headed?
I think that in and of itself is quite interesting because Sansa and Jon didn't get on originally.
Yeah, they're kind of disconnected. Like, you could sort of understand if Arya was on her way to the wall to find Jon, because they were like the closest out of those siblings. But yeah, Sansa going to see Jon is a bit strange. But I suppose, as far as she's concerned, that's the only person she has left. Although Theon did tell her that Bran and Rickon aren't dead, so she might want to find them as well. But as far as the safest place to go for her is probably the wall, as far as she knows. Obviously, it'll be a different matter when she gets there, but that might be a cool scene to see Sansa get to the wall and then be turned down basically by Alistair Thorne. It'd be one of those scenes again where you're sort of so close but yet so far.
Hound and Arya type thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with this as well, I think they've opened the door for a lot of different things that could happen now.
Definitely.
Heading north, but they could meet up with Northmen that are loyal to the Starks.
Yeah.
Possibly with Sansa and forge some kind of alliance there. All them characters could respectively go in different directions of some sort.
Yeah.
Leon meet up with his sister's definitely a possibility. It's very different in the books now, which is good because we can kind of draw a line under that.
Yeah.
He can meet up with his sister and kind of get his identity back as a Greyjoy. Brienne and Pod could safely escort Sansa somewhere, know that she's in safe hand, and then I think with that all them individual characters can go a lot of different ways, and a lot of different ways that they can go will be quite good as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not to what they do with that. I wanted Sansa to go back to the Vale anyway to learn from Littlefinger how to play, but particularly the main reason that because like Sansa and Arya are very different. So Arya is very good at getting down dirty and being with small folk, and she can blend in very well. But Sansa's always described courtesy as a lady's armor. She knows how to operate in higher echelons of society.
Yeah,
and that's a role that I think she could thrive in, rather than up at the wall. I don't think it really. What's she going to do at the wall?
Well, I don't think she's necessarily going to get there, or if she does get there, she's going to be turned away anyway. So I think she's going to end up somewhere else.
Where she could go as well. Crannog men. She could go to the
Yeah,
store.
well, I think we're definitely getting introduced to them in this season, but I don't know who's going to meet them. That's the only problem.
Any of them characters there could meet them though. We just, that was in that scene.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But I think with Sansa, I'd like her arc to be some. I think she fits in well with. Yeah, I've said it anyway.
Okay. Yeah. No. I would agree with that. Yeah. I don't think she's gonna pick up a sword and start learning how to fight. I don't think that's how our character's gonna turn out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she is. I think what you said. I think she's gonna meet up with Stark loyalists or some sort of party of people that are willing to help her out, but she'll also still have that ruthlessness in her that Littlefinger has instilled in her, because I don't think you just lose that overnight. Mm-hmm. So, I still think she'll know how to play the game, but it'd be interesting to see her in a more comfortable surrounding and see if she either reverts back to her previous character, which was just gullible and not knowing the real world, or if she continues to be wary of everything around her and knows how to play the game and realizes what Littlefinger taught her is useful in every occurrence of her life, basically. So, yeah, I'm very interested to see where those characters go, and it's probably the most like the most variant path that they can go on. Like you said, they can go anywhere they want with those characters, whereas a lot of the characters are restricted to the storylines that they have. So, I think that was the best way to get Brienne on side with Sansa, and that was probably the best scene of the episode. But yeah, the North. In terms of the North, I think we've covered everything. Just quickly before I forget. We'll move on to King's Landing, because for some reason I totally forgot to mention that. But yeah, the only thing I can really think to talk about at King's Landing is Cersei scenes with Jaime.
Yeah.
Cersei's such a funny character, because you like when she says, "Oh, Marcella," and she gets sort of that smile on her face, you sort of feel sorry for her, even though she's one of the most despicable characters in the show. They put her through so much that you do sympathize with her, but at the same time, some of the things that happen to her, you sort of go, well, you deserve it. But I just like to hear your perspective on Cersei's vulnerability and her basically her position at the start of this series.
Well, her little talks with Jaime. Again, I'm referring back to the book, but book Jaime is a lot more like, we don't like these people, but we have to be allies with them for the sake of our children, for the sake of the realm. We've got to be in these alliances that we're not happy with.
Yeah.
Tywin with the Mad King, they despise each other, but Tywin didn't do anything about it because he wanted to keep peace. He wanted to not, you know what I mean? You've got to, in their world, you have to be allied with people you don't like. Probably like Ned Stark and Roose Bolton, I bet, weren't best chums and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's got a kind of. So I found that a bit strange when he was saying like, "It's just us, it's just us, it's just us." What I found strange also was that Cersei was like, "I didn't matter that you got killed, I didn't expect you to anyway." I thought she was going to be like, that's our child, that's another child you've let die. You didn't do anything for Joffrey. You didn't do anything for Marcella. So she kind of completely went, "Oh, it's not your fault."
Yeah, that was kind of a weird character choice for her, but I just to defend them slightly, they did sort of plant the seeds for that sort of crazy Cersei that's starting to see the prophecy unfold, and she's believing in it 100%, and now she's going a bit mad, and like I kind of like that sort of. You could argue like her not blaming Jaime was ignorance on her part, and that she's becoming like not as wary of the world that she lives in, and she's slowly losing her mental state, which I hope plays into more of the fact that she starts taking on the fifth militant, which would be interesting to see. But that didn't annoy that I sort of like was thinking that like she should not have taken Jamie in so easily, but at the same time I sort of thought, well, she's going a bit crazy. She's seeing this prophecy unfold, and she's starting to believe that it is the end of her world. Basically, she's basically waiting for Tommen to die to prove that she's right, and it's kind of a weird predicament for her to be in. So
Yeah,
I wasn't too.
That's the reason she gives for not being mad at him, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Prophecy told me all three of them are going to die. She was going to die at some point. So yeah, it was. It's all a bit. There's no hope for the Lannisters now. It's like
no.
If you see Cersei die or whatever, there's no kind of. All the children are dead anyway, so. I honestly think it'll be brilliant if they've gone this way with the prophecies and whatnot. I said this last week, but I want her to burn shit. I want to burn it all down with wildfire. You know what she thinks about that?
I think that's definitely where she's going.
Wildfire and like, but from before, I thought she'd do it from a very kind of angry, really malicious, trying to prove some kind of point or something like that. But this Cersei that we've seen, prophecy Cersei, a bit loopier rather than she's not as full of anger. I want it to be kind of do it in that way where she's really loopy, but she's like burning down King's Landing.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely what we're. If we don't get like King's Landing on fire this season, I'll be pretty confused about why they haven't included that. But
that's just a theory, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I still think we're gonna get that because she burns down the Red Keep in the book, doesn't she?
Tower of the Hand.
Sorry.
The Tower of the Hand.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, she burns that down, doesn't she?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we will get a similar scene to that.
Yeah.
I think that will be the theme of her for the season, is just her mind deteriorating.
Yeah.
And I think that will eventually push Jamie away, and we'll get that scene where she calls on him for help. Maybe not in the trial, but in some instance she'll call on him for help, and he'll just go, nah.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, I think what could drive him away as much as, like you say, when she's just being absolute, you can't even talk to her. Like she was saying, it's just us and we're comforting each other. He'll be trying to talk to her and trying to kind of sort things out. He'll be the person that's dictating and whatnot.
Yeah,
and she'll just be kind of madly raving in the corner, like, took us all and just kill them. And he's
well,
like,
I can't imagine Jamie listening
in a mental home type of thing.
Yeah, I can't imagine Jamie listening to too many speeches about dead bodies for the rest of his time with Cersei. So, I think that's definitely where that's leading to. I don't like. There's a preview of next episode where Jamie goes to confront the High Sparrow.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that'll be properly fulfilled. I think he'll basically go to confront him, and High Sparrow will sort of convince him otherwise, and he'll do something else this season. But I'm near enough sure we're going to get what you said about the burning of King's Landing. Like you said, if there's still wildfire there, that's definitely going to be utilized. And then I see Jamie rejecting Cersei's pleas for help, especially if she does sort of set the King's Landing alight, because that was one of the reasons that Jamie killed Aerys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that might give him memories of that, and he'll sort of go, "Oh no, like the person that I love has turned into Aerys. What a harsh reality that is." But yeah, that would be my prediction for it.
What about Marjorie Tyrell?
I wasn't really sure about this scene. I was a bit
innocent. Sorry.
I
said last week that I thought she was innocent when she was questioned by the horrible nun type figure.
Yeah.
Septicon. Marjorie just said, like, "I've nothing to confess."
Yeah.
She says, confess your sins or something, and Marjorie says like everybody's got. So she says something like, "You've got no sins," and she says everybody's got sins, but she's nothing to confess to in what they're accusing her of.
Yeah.
Not complete. She's not saying that she's completely innocent, but none of these gang orgies that was going on. Yeah, I think Marjorie's innocent of all that. I think, but Cersei thinks that she's like this horrible little seductress queen because that's what Cersei's like, and people see themselves in other people. You see, like you know, a liar's good at spotting a liar and whatnot. But so she thinks that way. But I think Marjorie, you know, is a bit more innocent. She's younger in the the actress that plays her quite mature and stuff, but you know, she's supposed to be like 16, is it?
Yeah, like quite a young upcoming, because that's the point of that plays into Cersei's prophecy even more. So
stupid enough to, you know, and Kettleback says like, you know, she doesn't do it. She flirts and whatnot, but she shouldn't do anything with advances and whatnot. So yeah, I think she's innocent of all her crimes, and that just proves how the faith are not a just system, and they're just
definitely not
zeal. So
yeah, they're just an extremist militant group, aren't they? They're just like they believe what they're doing is righteous, but on the face of it, it's just another group of power hungry maniacs. So
what kind of justice is that? You know, she goes in and slaps her about a bit and says, how you deal with people. That's not how you do it in any kind of fair system. What's that like? Guilty until proven innocent, and she's telling you she's innocent. It's like everyone's guilty. You just need to break them down a bit, doesn't it? Yeah, I really don't like that.
Yeah, if you torture someone long enough, they're going to eventually admit guilt, even if they're innocent. So.
And even if she did admit now enough to get beaten up and malnourished for a bit, it doesn't attest to anything.
Yeah.
You people. Yeah, I really don't. So I don't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing the Tyrells kick some faith ass. They've got some good things, like, you know, giving to the poor, and like they let them join her, and they're not greedy in any way with material wealth. But I think seeing how they operate, I don't like it.
Well, they get joy out of power from controlling the masses.
Brotherhood Without Banners as well, didn't we? Though, where they didn't give the Hound a fair trial.
No.
They just said, "Oh well," they kind of threw all his brother's crimes at him. Didn't even distinguish, and then tested him on that and robbed him of his money anyway. And there was all that kind of air.
Yeah.
These kind of rogue groups don't have any kind of fair justice system within them anyway. So
yeah. Well, it sort of adds to the idea that there's no chivalry in this world, and that even like religious groups that, on the face of it, seem to provide for the poor are actually just trying to build a military to control one of the biggest cities in Westeros. So their motives are definitely not 100% legitimate. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how long they last, because you're going to have the Tyrells against you, you're going to have the Lannisters against you, so it'd be interesting to see if they manage to survive this season. But just moving on from King's Landing, we'll just go over what sort of was missing from this episode. I think two major things that I want to just touch on. I'm surprised we didn't get to see Bran. And I'm surprised we didn't get to see Greyjoys. What's that, sorry?
I'm alright with Bran, but I thought they could have introduced Greyjoy, especially.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised that I thought that would have been the best way to do it, is introduce, because apparently this is one of the shortest episodes that Game of Thrones has ever aired. So
not much happened in it, really. It felt very introductory.
So I thought they could have included a 5-minute scene of the King's Moot or something at least. But that's my major gripes with the episode. Were it was a lot of basically a recap of what happened last season, and then the major plots that did happen, I thought fell a bit flat, especially with Dorne. I don't want to go back on that because I'll be here all night. But but the good stuff mainly was the North, and especially Sansa's scene. I feel like she's got a lot of potential this season, and yeah, I'm so excited for the next episode. I just want to see.
I think it'll be better.
Yeah, definitely. It was basically a recap. They could have. It was basically like a highlight reel of what happened. But
That were good. But
what's that?
there were parts that were good.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like Daenerys'
It's
scene was
very,
really
like,
good.
introductory for me. It felt like, yeah,
Yeah.
a recap, like you said.
Yeah. So did you like this episode overall, or
I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
yeah, I'd probably say mainly because I just like watching these characters do things. It doesn't matter what they're doing. I kind of just like watching them. I'll probably give it a 7, but it's a bit. Yeah, it's a good point to launch from, but I feel like killing Dorn off is so stupid, and hopefully moving forward, the Greyjoys bring back the subplots that I'm really looking forward to. If not, this could be a weekly rant of how much I hate the Greyjoys. So, because the Greyjoys are one of my favorite.
Really?
What I would call new storylines.
Not so.
Sorry.
You do not so.
Yeah. They're one of the especially that like Victorian and Euron. They're such good characters that haven't been utilized yet. And I don't mind it too much that they're combining two characters. I think it would have been better if they split them, but I don't mind it too much that they're combining them. But I just hope that character is good, because if not, I'm going to have some major gripes about it. But yeah, do you have any predictions for what the next episode might?
Any region?
What? Sorry.
Any region?
Yeah, any region. Just what you think might happen next episode.
Well, we know in King's Landing, we know Jaime confronts the Fae.
Yeah.
I think that not much is going to happen with that. I don't think it's going to go to bloodshed. We're going to make some kind of compromise by saying, like, look, there's going to be a trial, regardless. We can have all these men die. We're going to fight against each other.
Yeah.
So might die. So just wait to the trial, and then Jaime says, like, oh, okay, we'll wait to see what happens in the trial, and then blah blah, with a mind to like maybe interfere anyway.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Let it go, because the faith militant are the people that's going to conduct the trial anyway.
Yeah.
So Jaime could just be like, well, I might as well wait and not, risk all my men in King's Landing dying or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there's going to be with Cersei, there's going to be a build-up in a character to insanity, and you're just going to see it, and then she's going to burn it all down, burn it all down. And I think she's still probably chummy with Qyburn as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to be the guy that orchestrates. So he'll be like, yes, we do have the cachets of wildfire, or even they might not even mention it because they've said that ruins a bit.
Yeah.
And the Wall, I think next episode or the episode after, Jon is going to be resurrected at the end of one of them as a major plot point.
Well, all right. Okay. Yeah, they kind of have to do it pretty early on. Otherwise,
maybe with the Night's Watch, I think maybe they do start fighting over his body or whatnot. And I think people change loyalties.
Right.
Or the wildlings show up. But I think a lot of Black Brothers will change loyalties and say, like, do you know, like Alistair Thorne going, come on, we're going to kill these. And then they're going to be like, we're not going to kill any. We've seen the White Walkers, they're coming for us. We don't want to shed more. We've got low enough men as it is. We don't want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then we're not doing this. We've already killed Jon. He was one with the wildlings. I mean, they can't even take on the wildlings anyway, so good job killing Jon, because they're not going to be happy with that, are they?
Exactly.
Spain, whatnot. So, yeah, I think that'll come to a clash, but I think ultimately, quite quickly, Jon Snow pro team, Jon Snow loyalists, however, will win, and then we might get a little hint of some kind of, oh yeah, remember that other enemy? They're coming. Maybe a few scouts. Maybe they send a few scouts and they kill them, and then it's like, oh shit, yeah, let's band together. They're coming. Let's tell everyone else. Send the ravens and whatnot. Brienne, Sansa, blah blah. I think that I really just would be speculating, but I would like to see Sansa go to the Vale, most importantly. But I don't think she's going to Vale. But maybe in the form of like she gets escorted into safety, and then she asks to go to the Vale, maybe because it's quite safe there.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of the Vale wanted to go to war against the Lannisters, but it was Lysa that said didn't want them to go to war because of her son. She didn't want him to be in any kind of danger. That's why she kept. Bolton's the demise is coming soon. But Roos's maybe not. Ramsay's demise is coming very soon.
Yeah.
Joffrey's did. Ramsay's coming soon. Go on, I'll let you run it on.
All right. Yeah. No, I think you've touched on like all the characters we're going to see the next episode. I think we're gonna be introduced to Bran. Hopefully next episode.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get either a flashback or a vision into the future. I'm not worried either way. But yeah, that'd be a good. A flashback would be a good way to introduce. His name. Bran, but also Howland Reed. That's it. I think that would be a good way to introduce that character.
Oh yeah.
And basically, I think that's probably the only new thing we're gonna get. We're gonna get more of Daenerys in Fast Dothrak. That might even be like a 5-minute scene. But yeah, that's about it. Like, I'm excited to see what's happening this season, but the first episode didn't get me excited. It's just I sort of know where they're gonna go somewhat with it, and that's what's getting me excited rather than the actual episode itself. So yeah.
I'd like to see Jon get resurrected though.
Yeah. I'm still like not 100% on how they're going to do it, so it's interesting to see.
Mel.
Yeah, no, Mel's going to be involved, but I want to see how she does it.
What's it without Badass guy called? But also Lord of Light.
Beric.
Yeah. Beric has a crisis of faith, or he never believed it, and then he says when he resurrects.
Thoros. Sorry.
I just spoke the words. That's what it says. I didn't expect anything to happen. I just spoke the words as a kind of.
So you think Melisandre's going to be like at her lowest point of faith, and then she's going to like pray.
I think Davos might say to her like, "I've seen your power," because he mentioned it to the Night's Watch. I've seen your power. I know you can do this. Give it a go, and she'll be like, "I don't think I can. He's dead."
Yeah.
He's too far gone now. And then Davos, he's the most cynical guy that hates the Lord of Light and that faith. He's the one that convinces her. And then
I like that.
She doesn't believe it, and then it actually happens.
Yeah.
And then when it is reborn, she's herself again as well.
Yeah, no, I like that idea. Like because they have conflicted since the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like Davos wants to murder her, so that shows you how much he hates her. But it would be quite interesting to see him basically not beg but plead with her to help out Jon Snow. That would be a great way to sort of make the two characters connect, and also you could end that storyline there basically with them two. So
my phone's on 2%. So
all right, okay, right. We'll leave that there, and we'll see you next week.
It'll be better next week.
Okay. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.